Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just dive in and let's start off with this tweet here. So it looks like the big banks are getting pissed off. UK's largest bank, HSBC, has now banned customers from purchasing crypto with credit cards. Remember what I said. It's going to start with credit cards, then it's going to be pushed to, debit cards, and from debit cards, it's going to be ACH payments. I mean, listen, I want you guys to realize what is happening right now. These banks don't want you utilizing crypto. They don't want you purchasing crypto from your bank account because they want to be the ones that are selling crypto to you. So I wonder if this is going to be the start and the accelerant to having banks custody crypto. That way you can only go through them for crypto. This would be very interesting. But it looks like the big banks are getting a little bit pissed off that they're missing out on a huge opportunity here. All while, guess what? Crypto is threatening. It's threatening their business flow. We are, cutting out intermediaries between cross-border payments. We have individuals that are taking their money out of the banks and putting it into crypto assets. It's a big concern. This is exactly why banks are terrified. Now, also, with that, we take a look at Gary Gensler. What's happening at Gary Gensler's house, aka his office? Check this out. So, Justin, SEC chair, says crypto exchanges should not be considered safe custodians. Now, obviously, listen, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to hold my crypto on an exchange. That's just not it. Right? We all know that holding crypto on an exchange should be avoided at all costs. That's why we only utilize these as an on and off ramp to buy crypto, take our crypto off, and put it on a ledger or a DCENT wallet. But it's the idea that the SEC, what they want is they want Wall Street and the big banks to be the only ones that are holding crypto. We just hear from Anderson. He's so transparent, it's funny. Yeah, we know your Wall Street friends will be the chosen custodians. The good news is that it also reveals that Gary knows crypto has a bright future in the US. Wall Street only cares about large sums / large values. And yes, this is the case, right? This is the big key to it all, is they understand how big of a role crypto will play within the global monetary system. So obviously they want to be the ones that are getting rich off of this as well, because that's the biggest problem with DeFi, is that they can't get a slice of the pie. They want to be able to sit at that table and eat too. And guess what? Crypto's basically cutting them out. So how do they get a piece of the pie? Well, you cut off all the custodians, you cut off all of the major players around this space, and you become that player. So that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're strong arming these exchanges in order to, give all the power to Wall Street and have them be the custodians. It's happening right now. Now, also, with this, seems as though Coinbase didn't like that. Pretty interesting. But we do see here from Nerd Nation Unbox, where was this when 75,000 plus were standing alone, taking on the corrupt regulators? Instead of joining you, instead of joining, you enabled them by bending over for them and delisting XRP. While you think you're doing something, the XRP army is fighting the real fight. And yeah, if you guys did miss it, basically Coinbase came out with this thread over on Twitter. There's 6 posts here, but we do see it's time to advance pro-crypto policy in all 435 congressional districts across the U.S., introducing Crypto 435, our campaign to grow the crypto advocacy community and share tools and resources to make your voice heard. It's just funny that now we are starting to see action being taken from these exchanges like Coinbase. I think that Coinbase is an absolute joke of an exchange. I actually don't support them. I barely even utilize them, maybe here and there, if that. But I don't like supporting them at all, because we know that when in doubt, they completely left XRP holders, stranded. And I think that that's a big problem. I think it's a big deal. But also, right, as we do focus on the bigger picture here, exchanges are getting a little bit concerned. I think that exchanges are trying to fight back now. It really started with Kraken, right? Kraken is a big one. So we actually have this post over here, which I think we're kind of getting to the point where like we need to come together and we need to fight back. But I remember making a video where the Kraken CEO was talking about what was happening, how they were trying to give the SEC a list of individuals that were doing business wrong, and they completely avoided them. And then they went after Kraken as well, which I thought was pretty interesting. But we do see here from Ryan Selkis, who's the founder of Masari Crypto. He's talking about putting together a group. We'll address that here in a second, but first I do want to address Johnny Deaton's comments. So we do see we will not get regulatory clarity before the first quarter of 2025. Best case scenario is likely the summer of 2025. This is a fact, not an opinion. A well-organized, adequately funded, and strategic campaign is a must. We do see XRP come prior to that, can't it? From the case, and we do see, the only clarity we will get before then is through federal district court rulings like the ones pending involving XRP. And yeah, that's basically what we have been addressing and waiting for. But here we have an idea on the overall administration that they're putting together. I shouldn't even say administration, but they want to bring together a ton of major players around the space, get some money together, and basically have a full group of individuals and, companies, etc., all come together to support crypto and help fight back against these rogue regulators that are trying to fight back against innovation and kill crypto. So this is what we have been waiting for. This is what we've been, really kind of watching for in terms of like an organization coming together to, fight back. Because honestly, and I'm just going to be real with you guys for a second, we're tired of the SEC's bullshit. Like what the SEC has been doing in the last 2 years, and even sometime prior to the last 2 years, they've been strong-arming companies to get paydays, and they've also been killing innovation within the U.S. And it really is the worst way to look at things, but it's the truth, right? And also, a lot of other individuals are asking the same exact question. They're seeing the same exact things as well. This is from the head of policy at A16Z Crypto, Brian Quintez. We do see from Blockchain Tip Sheet, they posted this. What we have in the U.S. is a completely out of control federal regulator at the SEC that is violating its statutory mandate of investor protection, that is running roughshod over Congress and Congress's intent to seriously adjudicate this issue, but not pass legislation on very ambiguous topics that are not agreed upon before, as well as running roughshod over the White House and an executive order that specifically respects the promises of this technology and the fascinating amount of innovation that it is going to unleash. And yeah, that's exactly what is happening right now in the US. Like, we have these rogue regulators that are trying to kill off this asset class. And guess what? The big banks are not helping. The big banks are now cutting ties with exchanges, and they don't want the retail sector to be investing into this space. Like, it's crazy that we have the largest banks out there that are banning customers from purchasing crypto. Now, yeah, it might just be, crypto or buying crypto with credit cards, but I do think going forward on, it's probably going to be debit cards, then ACH payments. And the crazy thing is that, I know from my experience with a lot of KYC exchanges, you have to, jump through hoops just to get verified on some of these exchanges to buy and purchase. And then, maybe sometimes your bank will deny the charge. It's insane. It really is insane. We need proper on and off ramps into crypto. These banks are killing any sort of innovation. They're also, really killing the momentum within crypto as well. They're trying to stifle growth. They're trying to slow this asset class down. Now, I also want to play this video for you guys as well, posted by Digital Asset Investor. And we do see no wonder Gary isn't worried about potential money laundering in the Ethereum ICO. Hester Pierce, when blow the whistle, new day, anyone? Listen closely to this. This is a massive update around the SEC.
Gensler, the head of the SEC, is someone who was heavily involved in the Russia hoax. In fact, he was the guy who helped to finance the Russia hoax. He was the treasurer of the Clinton campaign back in 2016. We investigated all of this in 17 and 18. And look, we found out that he was the guy who made the payments to a law firm who then moved it on to Fusion GPS. I think all of your viewers know that story. Now, look, how can a guy who I investigated, who clearly funded a dossier to target Donald Trump owns True Social, as I think most people know, how can that guy be in charge of this? But look, just to go even deeper, if you want to go know how deep this gets, it happens to be that Peter Strzok, who we also investigated, who was the FBI man in charge, who actually investigated the Russia hoax and helped to create the Russia hoax in many ways, and who was ultimately fired from the FBI, his wife also is one of the top people at the SEC. Now, look, we've asked simple questions. Why are these people involved? How can they possibly be unbiased at the SEC if they're people that we have had under investigation or related to people? In any normal world, you would recuse from this. Any lawyer involved, I mean, look at all the people that recuse themselves in typical business deals.
The SEC chairman was actually part of that.
Right. Well, that's exactly right. I mean, you can't make this up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a guy that we had under investigation, that we proved clearly that he's the guy that helped to launder all this money through a law firm to pay for the documentation, the Steele dossier. And how is this guy not recused? That's the point that we're making here. There's several people. How did all these people that were involved in the Russia hoax, who lied to the American people for so long, are now in charge of the SEC, deciding basically who can become public and who cannot? I think it's hard for my former colleagues to see to not see what's right in front of them.
Well, look.
And this is like the biggest problem. Like, there's so much corruption tied to this. I mean, like, you could look at the mind maps of the Ethereum gate scenario. I mean, like, this is from Utility Theory. We do see the SEC Gov scatters Hinman's information and redacts important parts under secrecy to make a big puzzle for citizens to solve. Thank you, Lerziet, for helping dig into the ETHgate mess. The citizens as a community are strong and divided. We are weak. I can't wait to see the truth. So yeah, I mean, like, when we look at this, like, look at all of the connections here, back to ETHgate. Like, this is a big issue. Jay Clayton, Bill Hinman, and I'm sure that, again, Gary Gensler getting paid off as well. Like, this is a big problem. This is a big problem, and things need to be 100% answered for. There's a lot of issues that I personally have with the government. I don't trust the government at all. I don't trust a lot of the things that we hear on a daily basis. Most of the mainstream media is to really kind of channel emotions from typical individuals out there, and they just skew a lot of things. But a lot of what we see and a lot of the things that we do know about ETHgate are getting hidden from the SEC intentionally to make sure that the public never sees this corruption. They don't see the truth behind this agency. And if you did know the truth behind this agency, just like Brad Garlinghouse said, it will shock you. But I do want to end off with this video here from Hester Pierce on Thinking Crypto One's it's on his YouTube channel. If you guys do want to go check out this interview, listen closely. It's about a minute and 50 second song. Sorry.
News came out. Jesse Powell of Kraken, he kind of tweeted out something that contradicted Chair Gensler about, saying all I had to do was come on the website and fill out a form. And I know Chair Gensler has said these things on TV, and but folks in the industry are saying it's not that easy. It's not very clear on registering and coming in and filling out whatever form. So I don't know if you can speak to this, but what's going on here? There seems to be confusion. There's one side saying one thing and the other side saying another thing.
So this has been a source of great frustration for me. I mean, obviously, when you're registering a securities offering, it's not the same as signing up for a class online or something like that. There's information that you have to provide, but we should have a process for thinking about what it actually would look like if someone were trying to register one of these products or services. And we shouldn't undersell, or we shouldn't underestimate the effort that would go into that. And it does really require a regulator who is willing to work with the industry and with people who would use these products and services to figure out a productive path forward. It's not just pressing a button or filling out a form on the website. It's a little bit more involved than that. As we can see, because we don't see people getting through the process.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating.
And yeah, I mean, like, listen, like, how could you expect these companies to fill out a form and like, all right, yep, now it's all good? Like, this is completely, it's a completely different process. Like, this is everything needs to be completely redesigned, restructured to help allow this innovation to thrive. Like, without proper regulations, without proper, sort of insights on how this entire industry works and operates, like, how are we ever supposed to have clear guidance? How are we ever supposed to have clear guidelines? Like, this is a big problem. And, Hester Pierce, again, all respect, whatever, but a lot of these regulators, they all talk this big game. They all talk this, that. It's very similar to Gary Gensler, how, he says, we need proper regulations. We need transparent regulations. We need this. We need, like, dude, you are the regulator. Like, you are the one that has the power and the potential to do this, but you're sitting around talking about it. Like, be productive. Do something with the taxpayer money that you are receiving every single year. Like, what is going on? Like, these things, their actions, everything that, we hear from the regulator side, they need to be accounted for. They need to, we need accountability here. So, with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, because definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications so on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.